So we're just rolling straight in. We've got a couple more. Do we have two more or four more? Two more. Oof, finally getting towards the end here. So we're going to go back to our regular tactic. Alright, and then this guy's going to be winger. And then we've got two fullbacks and a centre half on the bench. And then Saria, he's a striker instead. And then this guy. I think one other problem is that at its core, like, two of our best players are the two strikers. So when we're not running both of them, it's quite a significant, like, quality downgrade as well. So this is another issue. Like, this tactic for us is inherently worse than the other tactic because we don't get to play what is probably our two of our best four players and arguably our best two players, but certainly two of our best four players. So we're basically like one of our players that you're saying is in our best four players, possibly our best two players, is on the bench. So this is a problem in and of itself. But for now, again, we're not too. Let's see if we cared about winning. It would all be different. For now, we're just trying to build towards, just build and get this tactic working. Having that other thing as an option now, because basically, in order to convert from this to the other tactic, for us, doesn't require much, to be honest, at its core. It requires just substituting one of these midfielders. Maybe we need players that can, like this guy, if he can move to left back, if he played left back as well. Like, but at its core, like, just do that switch mid-match when we need it. It only requires a single substitution to bring the striker on for somebody, basically. So I feel like that's a good weapon to have up our sleeve as well. Because there's certain matches where when you, like I'm saying, there's certain teams that are just set up where that just wins, and we can probably pick that out and spot that quite often. So, right, and then the other thing is the tactical instructions. So we're back to here, back to here, back to here. I think we'll keep the back off to keep the just our players a little bit more energy. So it would be nice to be able to transition to a normal tactic and maintain the winning, to be honest. And it's like, yeah, it's a bit weird in a way because it's like we're going to be doing some totally different style of football now. So we almost got used to that other style. Now we have to. We beat these guys 4-0 last time, so hopefully we get the victory here again. We'll just check the match stats. Yeah, but it was 8 shots apiece, but yeah. And they had way more possession and territory. Pretty kind of interesting. It was a hat-trick from our starting squad striker in that game as well, who has since been sold. Okay, it's match time. You do have to bear in mind as well that we don't have our regular defenders, central defenders as well. In particular, that nearly ran on, but that guy there, he needs to be faster to deal with those balls better. and now he's slow, and you could see the difference as well. It was very nearly like goal, basically. Like, as in particular, like a lot of the balls spill loose through there, and he needs to get to them first. So, which is this guy Klinkenberg. So normally it's Oktay who's fast there instead. So. And again, that's him there again. He needs to be faster. He's given up that chance, and the other, what was nearly a chance. And if that went to them first, there's probably a goal, because that was really good position for them. I'm just going to pause for a second and check the tactics quickly, because I feel like maybe I didn't set something up right. Yeah, alright, I totally haven't. I didn't. Oh man, what a disaster. Right, I was kind of feeling like I was getting a gut feeling that things just weren't working properly, and yeah, I didn't. What a. It's only 16 minutes. Luckily, I'll manage to see that. This is a disaster that they're both on central midfield. So I'm gonna continue the game so we don't lose more pause time in case we need it. But yeah, that's just a total disaster in regards to how this team plays, because it's all about spacing and triangles and getting the right amount of bodies up and back to defend and stuff, and that's just very expensive. That change, like that mistake, we don't need extra presence in midfield, and that gave us that which we didn't need at all, and it reduced our defensive capacity which we needed, and it reduced our attacking capacity, which our amount of attacking players forwards. Like straight away, like this type of chance with the ping, and down the wing and across in, like, that's just because we got those two extra bodies forwards, basically. And before, with both of them on that central midfield role, they weren't getting forward enough to be involved in that. Hopefully this doesn't lose us a game. I mean, we picked it up quick, 16 minutes, but it might not been quick enough. It's the thing. Can't expect to make mistakes like that and still win matches. Like, it's not. Maybe at this level we can think that maybe we can and expect, so to speak. But when you're playing against other, like especially at higher levels against other people, it's like almost disrespectful to believe that you can make mistakes and still deserve to win, so to speak. It's definitely need to think in terms of like you should not be doing that. You need to when you're especially making wholesale tactical changes like we did there, like just change our whole tactic around, really need to be triple checking stuff like that before we start the match. Now there's loads of space in behind here as well. This is a problem. Like, it makes it harder to build up the play like this, but the other tactic we were doing would work pretty well against this team. Right, I'm going to quickly check all of the tactical instructions and everything, make sure they're okay. I think it is. I'm just looking at it. I think their team is quite well set up to defend against what we've got for various reasons. I don't know if I have time to explain everything. But they've just got a decent amount of midfield/midfield defensive presence overall to be able to like have enough body. Like normally we have a big overload in regards to the amount of players that we have versus them, and we don't really have that this match. We'll stick with it a bit, but okay, I'm going to pause it because I feel like maybe there's a tweak we can do, some tweaks that would help a bit. I was hoping we'd catch that one then. We'll catch this one. So I think one tweak we could maybe do is just that. Because there is space to exploit. I can see space, so hopefully just that one change might help us create a little bit more. There, straight away, right? Just knocking that into the space there. That change helped. Yeah, it's helping to create here. Not sure if it's helping it's enough, but got a better feeling now. If we had made this change earlier, because I was talking about the space earlier, if I had made it earlier, yeah, it's okay. Thing is, in a match like this, like it's totally obvious that we can score. So to get the changes in place as early as possible is important, because right now it's like a race against time, basically. I don't know if we have enough time to score. That was our box-to-box midfielder running back to make that tackle. Definitely has helped, that one tactical change. Like the flow is way better now. Just like I said, I think it might be a bit too late. If we had made that change right early in the match, like I feel like we would have ended up scoring a goal. And now it may, like I said, it may be too late. Hopefully we'll get there still. And we sort of can't even do the other tactic, to be honest, because we've already like lost our window there. We've only got one striker up front, and we got no other fast attacking players. So, we only just got there. Like, I'm not sure the other tactic is going to be creating a better flow of chances in this anyway. We've had some decent chances created. I'm not going to sub off that defender because he's just way better anyway, even when he's tired, than the other ones. Could have conceded. Right, so now I think with the amount of time left, like these players should make it through okay with the balanced closing down, so we will change that. There's not a lot we can do. We kind of got players injured and stuff still. Like any change we make at this point is gonna reduce our any subs we can do will allow our team to go more defensive but not more attacking, and right now we need a goal. Yeah, a lot of time being lost at the moment. I'm going to pause it because we are now getting we are getting to the last chance saloon, so to speak. And get a higher. Okay, we'll get him in. I'm not sure that helps, but the other guy could be tied at some point before the end, so we might as well get the fresh player on. And I think that's it. I think we just want everyone else out there. So I think at this point it's just what can we do tactically. At this point we just need to generally advance it faster. Let's just we'll just try to hit it longer. Doesn't make that much sense for this guy being a box to box, but yeah, I can't think what else we can do, to be honest, that makes more sense. So not with the time we have, and I think we just need a little bit of time just in case we do score a goal, so we can change it. Here's our chance, basically. Oh, set piece. Okay. Set piece, though. And we do have a striker. He's good at these. Oh, another chance. Okay, so that's game. I think it's a bit... We did have decent chance. I feel like we were, in the end, we lose because... I think you don't know for sure, right, if you would have scored. It's a little bit presumptuous. You have to, but the thing is, we did make mistakes. We started with the wrong tactic. We didn't have the player set up right. We were talking about how we had all this space, but then we didn't change anything until we did. But by then it was into the second half, and we could have made that change basically from the beginning. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing, that one. I think we just got to learn from our mistakes and make sure, get your tactics set up right before you play the match. Because it would be better, because now it's that bad feeling, to be honest. If you had it all set up right and you do all of this and we work that change out and we do it or whatever and we don't win, then so be it. But it's when you come out the other end and it's you just know that this could have been here from the start. We wouldn't have missed those first 16 minutes of creating absolutely nothing. We could have made that change potentially after 16 minutes, 20 minutes, rather than after 50 something minutes, and potentially, but I think it's reasonable to say that if we had have done that, set our team up properly to start with, and made that other change after 20 minutes rather than 50 something minutes, it's totally reasonable, I think, to say that we might have created one extra good chance, at least, and that we could have scored from that. Having said that, we were reasonably defensively, we had those couple of moments, but on the whole we were defensively okay. It is also the case that our starting AMC is gone. The backup is reasonable, but it is not. He's a bit weak, weaker, especially in regards to goal scoring threat. So yeah, I think we're gonna go again though. Like for sure. Like I think, like I'm saying, like this other approach is definitely a weapon that can be employed. Ideally, we'd be able to switch to that though, without having to make the sub. That would be really ideal. That we could change between the two conceptual styles of play without having to make any subs. That would definitely be something that we could work. Because if we could do these two things, like I feel like to sort of switch between these two fundamentally completely different styles mid-match, with completely different strengths and even weaknesses, especially if we can move the left midfield or left back. I feel like if we can get all these things, we're some ways off being able to do that, but if we could get there, I feel like during matches there's like so many tools to work with then, where like it's almost like no matter who the opponent is, how the match is going, like as long as we're on point, watching it properly, getting the decisions right, I feel like at that point, like every single match is effectively like winnable, as long as you reasonably winnable, something like that. I mean, you know, maybe not literally every single match, but you know what I'm saying. So, and then the trick at that point becomes trying to identify as quickly as possible, like that last match. It's like the difficulty then becomes trying to identify, like as soon as possible in each match, what you're supposed to be doing. Because dilly-dallying around and waiting until like well into the second half to like change it to the system that works much better could be super expensive. There we go. It's just like back to where I love that. Yeah, I just like. Thing is, I like this tactic. I like the type of goals it creates and stuff. And to be honest, like the match that we just played, and we needed to make. Well, one, we got the tactic wrong to start with, set that aside. But when you actually do get the tactic set up right, it doesn't. There's not many matches where, like, I'm sure there's plenty of times where, like, you can tweak stuff. Another decent chance. Well, we can tweak stuff to improve it a bit or whatever, but normally it doesn't need any tweaking mid-match, like, to be able to create a flow of chances. Normally it is scoring at least a couple goals. Like I said before, like, at least as many goals as the other tactic. Normally the issue with this tactic, though, is not the chance creation and the goals. It's the other end of the pitch that's more of an issue. So, but I think that's why we need that centre half we're looking at in the scouting pool. It's why we're playing all these matches to. It's why we're playing all these matches to get the cash injection. Playing them all now. And the thing in particular with this tactic is just having high quality centre halves that can do exactly what we need them to do in the different roles. It's just super important because it's the weakness of the tactic basically. So like we need, we're heavily reliant on these DCs to win their job, to win matches. Obviously everybody needs to do their job. I'm just saying like proportionately. Like we're saying, we've got all of these attackers that between them need to be able to work out how to score goals. Whereas, like, potentially on the other end, you're saying you've got these three guys needing to do, like, nearly all the defensive work. Like, the amount of contribution is just disproportionately high needed from the central defenders. So, like, investing heavily in them is, like, a reasonable thing to do, in my estimation. Because arguably they are the three most important positions in our team, just on that conceptual basis. Nice cutback, and now he's the box-to-box midfielder, right? Just arriving late for the cutback, has a chance. It's exactly what you want to see. It is interesting though when the box to box is getting the chances. I do say he does get the occasional long shot, but quite often they're actually in the box. So I kept checking the long shots attribute for midfielders when I'm assessing them, but actually, arguably the finishing is even more important, or just as important at least. There's another great chance. So that guy, he does burst. He's offset to the right there, and he does manage to find some space and burst through for a shot pretty often. That's another one where I'm like, the long shots, focused a lot on that before, but quite often he is bursting into the box for a shot. So the finishing, I kept saying like looking at long shots for these players, but actually maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing, or at least should be looking at more than one thing. So far, like, I've not seen a big need. Like, I feel like we are creating enough to, one, we're winning. Two, I feel like we're creating enough that, like, I wouldn't bet against us scoring again. And three, I feel like we're very defensively solid. It really feels like the other team hasn't created anything much that we should be worried about. So I think that, those factors combined, we're just going to keep going. So to be clear, we're winning. It looks like we might score again. It doesn't look like they're going to score. And when that's sort of the case, like, you don't want to mess with anything. You just don't fix it if it ain't broke, sort of thing. So at this point, we just wait and see if it breaks before we try to fix it. Yeah, they've only even had one shot, so they've not really created like any really dangerous. That's about as dangerous as you've sort of seen. And again, that's a shot. Maybe it's a little like, we're okay. Like, again, it's the type of thing. If that's the most dangerous chance they're going to create all game, then effectively we're happy. We're really happy with that. That chance was more dangerous, and even for us, it's like, we've had quite a few chances of that sort of danger level. Alright, it's time for a sub. Our box-to-box midfielder is tired. Not surprising with all the work he's got to do. We've got to back up for that. I think it's just a straight swap at this point. It's a shame he didn't get the shot off. It was like holding my breath, see if he would score. I didn't even get to see it go wide. Talk about that one a little bit. One thing that impacts that is the composure. If that happens, if you find your players going through like that and they're not shooting when you want them to, when you would like them to, something like that, or you feel they should, or whatever word you want to use. One attribute you can look to try to get higher in a striker when he's through like that he will end up shooting often, is the composure. So, I mean, I'll check. I don't think ours is particularly low, like a 61, but yeah, like, just saying, like, generally, if you want it, just get up. It's a factor, that's all I'm saying. Right, so I feel like we're doing another clean sub. This guy, again, he's still better even when he's tired, so I guess he's staying out there. And the other thing we got coming up that we need to think about is our right midfielder is about to get tired. Ideally, we would secure the. Wow! Look at that. It was like. That was interesting. sort of like off the post, off the keeper, back off the post again sort of thing. You don't see that often. Yeah. So okay. So I was saying, ideally we get another goal, and then we can sub him off, and because I think at this point, like, the match is kind of won. Like, they're not really creating anything, and we got the 2 goals. So, and it's certainly the case that subbing off that right midfielder for another defender is going to disrupt our attacking flow. But I'll hit the sub now. I want to catch it. Yeah, so I feel like that's that. Like, maybe if they scored off that, then we'd need to be a bit more worried. For now, I think we can just sub on the basis that we're sort of preparing for the future now, and we don't want him to be injured. We switch him to fullback. I think the question is, like, we still want to invite them down here a bit, so let's change that to wingback. It's the third sub. I feel like we can just leave it like this. It's obviously not the same tactic, and he's not rushing. Like, it's not the same, but I feel like it's decent. Maybe the goal scoring threat is somewhat like reduced because of that change, but I still feel like there is capacity for like possession retention, draining some time, and so on. To be clear, that's down. There was down this side, which is the problem. That's why we need. He ran through there. That's why that centre half in particular needs to be fast for us, because the chances that come through are typically just related to the ball like spilling through. So he doesn't need to. The speed is the most important thing for him, actually. More important than tackling and whatever. Like, the most important thing is he just gets the balls first. He doesn't typically need to tackle. That's the thing. He just typically needs to get like to the ball first. Now he does need to tackle sometimes, obviously, because he's a defender and blah blah blah. But we do talk about that one in particular. Like, it's certain attributes are important for him more than others, and for him, it's yeah. Hopefully that shows why. We've had examples multiple examples pointed out of that in recent matches, because it's become immediately obvious now. Like, when the fast guy is there, like, it's kind of just working as planned. But this guy's in as because we've got injuries, and it's sort of now it becomes like you can see it's exposed, and it is a problem when you're slower. Alright, so we get our cash injection. Another 5 million. So I don't know if there's enough content to create another video after this one about buying the player. So I think we'll just go and buy him now. So we were saying we want to buy. There was a central defender we definitely do want to buy. It was this guy. We're going to blow the 2 million and get him. That's why we played all the matches. Just all of this conversation, we're talking about how important these. A lot in this video about how important these central defenders are, or maybe that was the last video. But anyway, we're talking about how important they are. So we're going to blow our cash. We're going to get this guy, and the question there was as well is, do we want to get? There was another guy. This guy, I'm still umming and ahhing. I think we may end up just taking this one offline and putting it into the daily roundup tomorrow, whether we bought him or not, because I still don't know, honestly. I haven't looked into it yet, like I said I would. So we won't make this decision now, but I think in particular these matches have kind of highlighted that, like, he can't be that role on the DLC. He can't fill in with that. We're just going to have to assume he can never do that. Like, he will never be fast enough for that. So it's only going to be one of the other roles. And even the one in the middle, like, we probably can't do that. We probably won't, and we may. That's the thing. We may get him, but I'm leaning towards a very reluctant pass at the moment. I'll put it that way. Also, this ceiling isn't like, it's all right, but it's not like the other guy was 69 or something, much higher. And the other guy was older. So yeah, I'm not gonna just click buy here. I'm gonna think it through. You'll have to catch the next video if you want to know the outcome of this. So thanks for watching, and we will catch you for the next one.